everyone, and welcome to Winged Victory with Rob and Scott, a podcast by the National Museum of World War II Aviation here in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Welcome back. This is going to be a fun segment. We are inside our PBY. I'm Rob, my partner in pod crime, Scott.
Hello.
And Nicole Bertola, the crew chief of this magnificent airplane.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Well, I can. Watched you give safety briefs, and I got to say, the British girls were just you. It's hero worship, just about.
Yeah. Well, I hope not. I don't deserve that.
But I don't know. Do we start with how does a nice young lady like you get involved with a whole bunch of air pirates like us?
Yeah, I mean, what gets you going in something like this, or even has sparks an interest in you?
Yeah, I have always loved airplanes for no specific reason, actually, since I can remember. Always grew up with that. I do have some family connections to all of this.
Yeah, we'll get to that if you'd like.
Yeah, but even before I was really aware of that, I just always loved this stuff. And then, much later, getting to finally see the warbirds actually flying, that's when it really sparked something in me where that was sort of like the pinnacle of aviation in my mind. Just that mix of history and kind of seeing these aircraft still flying to this day instead of static in a museum. That kind of blew my mind. So I always knew, like, somehow I got to find a place where I can be involved with that.
So when was that in your life? Was it,
that was,
kid? Did you go to an air show? Were you a teenager? Or was it later in life?
Well, I've always loved the warbirds since I was a little kid because of my great-granddad, but I didn't actually get to see them flying till much later in life.
Yeah.
I grew up actually in Chicago partially, and then I moved to Colorado, so it wasn't until I was in Colorado where I got to see anything like that flying. And I was actually a B-17 was the first airplane I saw, and that just...
It's a pretty good start.
Yeah, that kind of just did it for me right there. And then I ended up actually living next to, the Jeffco Rocky Mountain Airport, and the warbirds would come
Mountain
in.
Now?
It is now, yeah.
I don't know anything about this place anymore.
I still call it Jeffco, but yeah. So living by there, getting to see the warbirds come in, and I'd always run over there as quick as I could and be around them, and just trying to talk to people and figure out, how I could get involved. And that's actually where I ran into somebody who volunteered here. And I had actually never heard. I mean, it's only 100 miles from my house. But
only, yeah.
Yeah, and I had not heard about it. And they're like, no, we have like 29, 30 aircraft flying. And, this was before the air show 2 times ago. So they're like, you should come out to the air show in September. And I was like, yeah, I'll be there. So I went to the air show. And actually, one of the first airplanes I saw flying out of this collection was the Catalina.
This airplane.
And it was like, love at first sight.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you guys, had a Catalina, and I saw her just doing those slow, low circles on the inside of the bomber tracks, and that's what did it.
Well,
and
now it's we guys have this Catalina.
Yeah, now I get to be a part of that family, which is I feel very, very fortunate.
Yeah,
Wow.
And I mean, literally, you just came around here and you just said you would do anything, and you literally started cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how you started. So
We heard a story like that just yesterday.
Yeah, so you start from cleaning toilets to next thing you know, you're crew chiefing a PBY.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't just happen like that. Obviously,
No.
I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Definitely.
And being able to show people that you know what you're doing, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
You're willing to work.
Yep.
So you might have fast tracked it a little bit in that regard, but here you are. And it's a testament.
Yeah, I mean, it was over 2.5 years ago, actually. I tried to volunteer online and then was told, hey, it's probably like a 2-year wait. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen.
What?
So I actually took a day off of work and I drove down here for the first time to the museum. And which, of course, that blew my mind. I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh, it's just going to have lots of airplanes. Like, I didn't realize it was just this beautiful museum, on top of having our airplanes. And I spent the whole day, I'm like, I'm just going to find somebody I can talk to who can help me find out how I can get in. And I'm like, I don't care what I'm doing, all of it's important, and as long as I'm here supporting that, and it was actually on my way out, I ran into Andy, who was cleaning the floors, and we started chatting. We're actually by the Super Beach, the Beach 18 that we have.
Yeah.
And he let me in the aircraft, and, he's like, no, Nicole, you seem to love this stuff, and he's like, sign up for facilities, and that's how I got in, helping Jack's team, and, cleaning, whatever needs to be done, helping Andy out, so, yeah. that was the start of it.
That's how it starts. I mean, some of us are born into it, but
Well,
it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean,
It still
I
takes-
could have gone in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
I tried going in a different direction, but
it
it just called me back in.
it does.
You can't
It
escape
does.
it.
I couldn't
And
escape it.
there's something so special about this that
But for
We
you,
all-
and it's not like you just came out of nowhere. I mean, you got a history, I guess, of liking kind of being a gearhead.
No, totally.
Yeah, I mean, you got cars
Yes,
and motorcycles
yes,
and the
yeah.
whole deal. So
Yeah.
the idea of getting off the ground and flying is just an extension of that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cars and bikes were always far more accessible,
Sure.
and
Oh,
I was able to
absolutely.
at least get my hands on some of that, and I love doing my own work, and I've loved machines, whatever they are, forever. I mean, airplanes to me was always like the top. And then I would go help out with clubs at Jeffco, when I could,
Yeah.
doing like annuals and stuff, and then they'd like take me flying sometimes. But mainly I just kind of wanted to do the work and get my hands dirty, and and that's kind of what I was doing in my free time. And then I found this place, and now I have no free time.
Welcome to the club.
yeah. Well, it's gainful time, and
It's the best.
to have established the level of credibility you have in the short period you have is an achievement.
Oh, thanks, Rob. I appreciate you saying
Well,
that.
yeah, I mean, it just shows, like I said, that you got the work ethic and you're willing to go for it. And, I mean, to take the time off of work, drive 100 miles and come down here and just stalk somebody to get me in here, that's
Yep.
that's a level that most people don't take. People are used to firing off an email and then,
Yeah.
well, nobody called me back.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So that shows
Well,
a lot. I don't know if it's scary or if it's admirable, but I like it.
Yeah, I didn't know anybody down here, so it was definitely like a huge jump, and
Yeah.
and they even told me when I was first signing up, they're like, yeah, well, most people who drive from Denver, they don't last more than 6 months, and I'm like, well, that's going to get proven wrong. So I'm like, you're not going to be able to get rid of me.
Good to be the exception.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
facilities, that's the unsung heroes of this museum, and they're like Andy's
Yes.
Andy's here late and early,
Jack,
and
yeah.
you're shoveling
Tim.
snow,
Yeah, those
Yeah,
guys
those
are
guys.
awesome.
and again they do all the stuff that needs to be done, but
Behind the scenes, essentially.
yeah.
So you said you had a kind of a connection through your family with aviation.
Yes.
So let's talk
yeah.
about that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I find that fairly interesting.
Yeah.
No, I find it extremely interesting.
Yeah, so my granddaddy, he's my great grandpa, on my father's side, he was a big part of World War II, as
Yeah.
well as Korea, and actually part of Vietnam as well. He has a very extensive history. I always, from the beginning, always knew him as Grandpa flew the Corsairs.
Yeah.
So I always knew about the Corsairs when I was a little girl, and that was always oh. And then of course, as I got older, learned more. He unfortunately died when I was around 8 years old.
But you did know him.
I did get to know him briefly,
Yeah.
And I'd give anything to talk to him now.
Yeah, well,
And,
that's-
show him this place, because I can't even imagine the things he, would talk about and tell me. At one point he was even commanding, the night fighter squadron. So in Korea with
the
the
Tiger
Corsairs and the Tiger Cats,
Yeah.
and he was a part of commanding the last Corsairs in Korea, and then it transitioned to the Panthers and all of that. And, he was in World War II and the Solomons. A huge thing with him that most people I'd say would know him for would be he was a huge part of the Yamamoto mission. So, yeah, he was actually one of a couple guys who originally got the call from Admiral Mitcher to plan that. So that was kind of a big deal.
Well, and I'm so happy you at least got to know him a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
me too.
kind of the way my grandson was with his great granddad, and it's just I was hoping that you had a chance to,
Yes.
because he must have been quite a guy.
You want to give him a shout out? What's his name?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah.
The people out there
Yes.
can look him up.
Yeah. Major General John Pomeroy Condon
Yeah.
is his name.
yeah,
Yeah.
the little vignette you sent me about the the guy in the Crusader
Yes.
was
BFA.
just about the time your great granddad was ready to retire.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody foolishly just told this young Marine who was getting ready to head off to law school, they were supposed to do a 1v1 and the other airplane was down. And so they just said, well, just go play. And so he's running this F8 Crusader. I don't know if you've ever seen one or heard one. They're massive and just, it's like the end of the world when they fly by. And he apparently was fairly low when he was doing some of this.
How low was he?
Yeah, like clothesline low.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just over the
like
car tops is what the report said.
Yeah, Pacific Coast Highway,
Yeah.
cars are burned by afterburners, And
They asked for it.
well, they kept this guy on active duty while they decided whether or not they were going to court-martial him. And finally, he reports to the commanding general, Major General Condon,
Yeah.
with a 40-page letter of reprimand. And I can't make it an exact quote, but it's priceless. And from somebody who knew, he said, son, that stuff went out with VJ Day.
Yeah.
And so the guy's life wasn't ruined by the intercession of somebody who understood pilots.
Little reprimand, but no court martial.
Well, that's
Yeah.
admirable of him.
And he didn't know at the time who he was dealing with. And so this article I found, he goes back and he had found all his paperwork. And then he's like, kind of learned more about my grandpa and what he did. And
Yeah.
he actually wrote this beautiful write-up about it.
It really is nice.
Yeah.
And we should throw that link in the.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
So how much of that connection with your grandfather do you think sparked the love that you have for the airplanes and the warbirds and
Definitely
everything?
with the warbirds. I
Yeah.
mean, knowing, of course, the Corsairs when I was really little, and then obviously starting to go to different museums and seeing them flying. And, actually, I never even got to the reason I went to, at the time, our air show, was to see the Brewster fly, because I had never seen a Corsair fly in my entire life. So between that and actually the P-38, because, of course, the Yamamoto mission, those were the two I was really just, like, dying to see. And so...
And that was the one that was that the year the P-38 didn't fly?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's funny because I have so many funny pictures from that air show, and I'm like trying to zoom in on the P-38, and in those pictures I see a couple volunteers and they're just sitting in the shadow of the wing of the P-38. And I said that day, that's going to be me the next air show. I'm like, I don't care what it takes. That will be me. I'll be sitting under the wing of whichever airplane, but I was like the P-38.
And who knew that you'd be kicking people out of getting in the PBY?
Yes, literally.
Literally, people
Oh
trying
my
to get
gosh.
in here.
Yeah.
And then yelling at you, why don't you let me in?
Yeah. Who's unlocked? Yeah.
Yeah.
General public.
So yeah, that takes us, I guess, to, you got here. Now, what does that all entail? What are we talking about when you're crew chiefing a PBY?
Yeah, it's really, I don't know, it's really special to me to finally, to go from literally falling in love with this airplane to being able to be a part of the crew. I mean, massive honor, and honestly, thank you to everyone here who's allowed me that ability. Through a lot of work, but yeah, the main point is, we usually fly this airplane always with a minimum of 3. So you've got the pilot, the captain, you got the co-pilot, and then you have the flight engineer. And so my goal was to become, the third person, the flight engineer. And the main reason for that is because, should we have an emergency and lose hydraulics, you have to manually deploy the gear on this airplane. And it's no joke, like a 20-step process. And you have to go to the front of the nose and back and forth. And it's a very physical thing, but it just definitely takes having, another person on board. So that's the main reason for it. That's why we do it here. But, as part of flight engineering, you're kind of a part of the initial walk around, making sure everything, just another set of eyes on, on startup, you're watching the engines. It's kind of really cool about the seat up there, right?
I was going to ask you about that, if you'd describe that a little later, but not to interrupt.
No, you're fine. So getting to watch the engine start up, because the stacks are actually on top, so the pilots can't really see the exhaust, so you're kind of keeping an eye on that, calling out if anything, looks too rich, or if there's any issues, any leaks. So those are kind of the main responsibilities. And then I spend a lot of time cleaning her.
And she shows it.
Yeah, she takes a lot of cleaning. So you'll see me, people always call me a monkey around here because I'm always just monkeying.
Scampering.
Yeah, I'm on the top of the wing. I'm doing all kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, with the engines being up high the way they are, and
Yes.
every time we just take it out and there's a little breeze, every little drip is all over the fuselage. And it just, and you'll spend a day, I mean, at least a day with, I don't know how many people 7, 8, 9 people cleaning this thing, and it's still not enough.
No,
It's huge.
No,
It's a
she's a
massive
big girl.
airplane.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. It's actually kind of funny because one of the things Andy said that first day I came to the museum as kind of like a tease for me. He's like, well, because he has to often dust the airplanes and he can't really do that anymore. So he was like, well, you can dust the airplanes, and honestly, I can't get on the wing of the PBY anymore. I'm like, you guys get on the top of the wing of the PBY. I'm like, sign me up. I'm like, so one of my goals, yeah. And so after at the first PBY fly day, after I'd started volunteering, I got up on top of the wing to clean her, and I was like, all right, that was like the big goal at that moment.
Yeah, I like that you have all these little goals.
Goal by
and
goal.
You keep just achieving them. You're like, I'm just going to insert myself in there and do it.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are like, please go.
Yeah, I know, you're
clean
like-
the PBY.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whitewash
bummer.
the fence.
Yeah, I still get extremely excited about washing any of the airplanes, so none of that stuff gets old. That's the cool thing about it.
Yeah. So you talk about the engineer's seat up in the pylon, which is all the engine management controls, isn't it?
Used to be on this
Okay.
aircraft. It's not anymore. We have like fuel pumps there now.
Yeah.
But yeah, you used to would have been able to like, monitor the engines, have all the dials there, and actually like controls too if you needed. So then that would have been, it's kind of cool because the pylon has this like triangle shape, and you're pretty tight up there with the
Yeah.
two windows on either side. And yeah, you can imagine every time I'm up there, I'm always imagining like, seeing, all the engine output information and, just communicating that to the
'Cause
crew.
that was part of achieving the amazing range these aircraft had,
Oh yeah.
was very careful, knowledgeable engine management.
Yeah, efficiency. And this airplane could go, over 2,000 miles, over 20 hours,
Yeah.
with the tanks full. And you can imagine, then they'd have like a crew of 8 versus 3 in that case, but a very different setup from our current airplane.
Well, yeah, but 5 of those 8 are still, you've got a crew chief, probably a chief petty officer, or and 3 pilots, but the rest of the guys are, machinist mates and radio men.
Yep.
And these things had an incredible radio setup. It doesn't do you any good to find what you're looking for if you can't call back and say, hey.
Yeah, true that. So
Battle of Midway.
I guess not
Yep.
just being you kind of became a little bit of a historian of this airplane as well, in your pursuit of being part of the crew. So
Yes.
maybe you can just give us a little bit of a background on this particular
Yeah,
airplane.
yeah. One thing I love about all of this is obviously the general history is amazing, but I do get very attached to the specific aircraft. So I love knowing as much as I can about them. So we kind of had like a general sense of where this one had been, and this is definitely one of our working airplanes, right? It did serve in the war,
Yep.
an actual warbird, but it had a huge life after that too. So I'm like, what did she do, right? What did this one do? So I was able to kind of dig up, actually, so this one was made in 1944. So June of 1944, she got delivered to the
Yeah.
RCAF. So she was actually, Canadian built, actually a Canso A, so that's the amphibious, so she's got the
Yeah.
gear. So technically that's what she was born as. She's obviously since been converted to the PBY-5A that you see her in now. But she would have had originally the blisters and the nose turret, when she was delivered. A cool thing is that her first squadron was the RCAF 162, number 162, and they're actually credited with the most U-boat kills. So, what did they use? The PBY.
Oh, absolutely.
The Canso A, right?
Yeah.
At the time. So she came like just on board post D-Day, so she wasn't actually involved with any of those.
The submarine.
Yeah, but she was built for that, and she did partake in that activity, but she wasn't there for any of the actual kills themselves.
Well,
but
that's
still
okay.
really
They
cool.
also serve.
Yeah, so they lost a few of them during that time, and so this one came in to kind of fill that back. So she was with them for a period of time, and then basically post-war, she ended up getting converted to more of like a transport. So they would have taken these blisters off. And what's neat is I actually found through the Canadian archives, I was able to look up, her serial number, which is 11089. So I was able to look that up, and I just found references. They don't actually show you the documents or photos. They just kind of like give you like, oh, this is referenced. And then you actually have to reach out to the archives and, have them send you the information. So I found a couple of those references, and some of them were, in some sort of report, or there were a couple photographs. And so I, reached out to the Canadian archives. They got back to me. They sent me. So I actually found a couple accident reports, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole story there that's worth telling. It sounds bad, but none of them were bad, but they're actually kind of funny stories.
Depends on which class they are.
Yeah, but they had extensive reports back then, and that was when she was doing actually the sea training. So she did a lot of that too in Canada later after the war. And then I found some really beautiful photographs that I don't think any of us had ever seen before. So that were like hidden in some book, in some archive. And it was cool because it shows you what she looked like when she was kind of in that transport air-sea rescue configuration. So, with the sliding hatches instead of the blisters. And then, of course, not quite this like civilianized nose, but sort of that bumper nose as well.
Yeah.
With the window like she has now, which is kind of neat. So
Yeah.
And like getting to see like actual photographs of our airplane, from back then. I mean, that to me is like just priceless. I love it.
We're sitting in history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a not undistinguished history. It's great. I first got into this airplane just before I did the gridiron presentation because I wanted to know what the airplane would look like when the water was in the fuselage up to the edge of the blisters. I wanted to get an appreciation. That's a lot of water.
Yes, a lot of water. Anything even up to that line, right?
Yeah.
The let's get out line is impressive.
So was it essentially a transport after that for many, many years, and then?
Pretty much, yeah. So it did like air sea rescue type activities. There was a boat named the Beaver, actually, an RCAF boat that ran aground, and actually our PBY flew in, landed in the water, and actually rescued those guys off of that boat. So she did things like that, but most of it was kind of going back and forth. You kind of like you can kind of make a track of where she was, and she was all over Canada, like coast to coast, all over the place, which was pretty interesting. I was like, wow, I didn't realize she had kind of like gone so many different places, like just even after the war. But then after she retired, she was actually the last serving Canso A for the RCAF. She was the last one retired. So I thought that was kind of cool too.
Yeah. Kind of prominent.
So last serving Canso A. And then she actually went to Quebec, and that's where she got kind of configured for all the firebombing. So she did that for 30 years. Believe it or not, this airplane, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of stress on the airplane.
Absolutely.
I mean, we were just talking about hauling water and landing, scooping it up, and then lifting it off.
Yeah, the cool thing.
I mean,
about
imagine
this thing
that.
is It's always doing 100 miles an hour. That's about it. So it's not like a Tiger Cat that's configured
No.
and you're dropping a load and you're doing
Not quite.
300 or something. A little bit different stress level, but this thing was made to carry.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've got all that lift from
It's
those massive wings.
crazy.
That one big old wing.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact tonnage that the guys hauled up from Darwin to the Philippines, but the airplanes were stacked so high with anti-aircraft fuses that the crew chief had to crawl on top of them. I think it was something like 8 or 9 tons.
That's amazing.
So the one story that I really found pretty interesting about this airplane was when Jim Slattery bought it, and it was down in South Africa, and they had to fly it back. We actually need to get Matt on here for that story because he was actually in the airplane and did the flight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't really go over it because I wasn't there, but just some of the tidbits and stuff that he talked about, because you're going from South Africa to America, and there are stretches there where there isn't like an airport,
No.
fuel and oil, so they had to actually map that out and then have that stuff waiting for them.
Sure.
They land out in the bush somewhere, and there'd be a pallet with oil and fuel, and then they had to figure out how to get it up because there's no forklifts, there's no nothing,
Yeah.
and they're out there in the bush, and they're making sure they're not getting hunted.
That's real expeditionary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it was pretty wild. I mean it was a hell of a story to get up here.
Yeah.
But I think it got restored down in South Africa.
Yes, yes, it did. Yep, it was being restored, and then Slattery got it, finished that. That's where it got converted to the PBY 5A. Actually, kind of cool. As part of like my researching, I found a bunch of photographs of her in South Africa, just kind of like sitting out there. So what she looked like just before they got her hands on her, and she looks like she does now. So that was kind of neat. But yeah, and she was actually the last PBY in South Africa. Kind of an interesting story about that real quick. I was actually in Oshkosh this last year, and bazillion people, bazillion airplanes, and I happened to run into, of all people, these guys who are from New Zealand, and I just happened to mention like, oh yeah, from Colorado, and work with this museum in the Springs, and I'm like, oh yeah, with the PBY and yada yada. He's like, oh, like, was that in South Africa? And I'm like, actually, yeah, that's where she was, restored. And he's like, no, I saw that airplane, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, like what?
It's just around the corner.
Yeah, and he's like, actually, I know that airplane intimately. And I'm like, do you now? He's like, yeah, he was basically like, head instructor of this flight school. And I guess one of his students this one day, the PBY had just gotten finished. She was about to actually head out. So, squeaky clean, brand new, like looking PBY sitting on the ramp. And this student was taxiing something like a 172. Didn't see the PBY, which...
Well, yeah.
Okay.
How could you?
I call her the elephant in the room.
Yeah. And literally actually hit the wingtip on the nose of our airplane. And I thought that was crazy because I know this airplane pretty well. And I'm like, I know exactly a mark on the nose. And I brought up a picture and I zoomed in on it and I showed it to him. And he was like, oh, that's it. And I had always wondered, like, what happened? So, like, how bizarre.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
Small, no. So that was kind of like a crazy small world story. But yeah, no, they definitely seen our airplane flying out of South Africa, which
How
I
did
thought
this
was
thing
cool.
end up in South Africa?
It got sold around quite a bit because it was with the Quebec Department of Transportation. And then it got sold to like private owners.
Sure.
And then at one point, one of them was from South Africa, so she got moved down there and kind of jumped around
Seems
a bit.
like a crazy.
And then it's weird.
I'm gonna go to Canada when I live in South Africa and buy a PBY.
Yeah.
And you're not taking it apart and shipping it down there.
No. Well, you don't have to. That's
Yeah,
the
that's the
beauty
cool
of
Well,
it.
I know, but can you imagine the cost and the time? I mean, that's like sailing the Horn back in the day. I mean, that's essentially the same timeline.
Yeah,
I
but
feel like it would take forever in this thing.
there's a great book I read as a kid. A guy had bought a PBY and was doing research and survey work all over the world in one of these things. I mean, beyond the historical provenance and everything for us, this is just a really useful airplane.
Extremely.
Yeah.
I mean, very versatile.
Well, yeah. I mean, geez, can you imagine going to Havasu in this thing with a bunch of your buddies?
Maybe not Havasu.
Oh, yeah.
How about Cabo San Lucas or something?
Whatever.
It's
All
my
right,
dream to
fine.
get this one in the water and like jump off the wing into the
Oh, yeah.
water. And
Yeah.
My dad used to have an albatross back in the day, and
Ugh.
they always said that we were going to do that, and we never got to go do that.
Oh,
we
bummer.
were going to go to Lake Powell,
Perfect.
Go land on Lake
That'd be
Powell.
amazing.
Perfect.
Oh man, especially as a young, older teenager, you were like, yeah, let's go do that.
Yeah. I bet you I could get some girls to come with me.
barbecue, go fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is amazing.
No, she's just...
So yeah, you made flight engineer.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any aspirations to go out and get your pilot license and
I mean, it was something I always wanted when I was younger, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then life took me down a different path. But at some point, I probably will. I mean, but what's really cool now is, I love working on them, and I love learning everything I can about them. And that is accessible, and I can just do that any day, every day. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? As much as I can. I mean, I would love the flying concept just, for understanding that portion of it. And it would make me a better flight engineer, honestly, if I was a pilot.
Well, I wasn't just thinking about you getting your pilot license to be a better flight engineer. I was thinking like getting up into the sea.
Well, yeah, that's like that would be the
Well,
huge.
I mean,
You
you're
go-
young. You
Yeah,
got plenty of time
yeah.
to do it, and then
That would be the
like I
dream
said,
dream.
You're kind of in the right place to if you got those dreams and aspirations to work your way up to that. So
Yeah, I definitely have thought about that more now. It's kind of, I feel like this has become more accessible to me. I definitely never would have thought in a million years I could even touch one of these airplanes, let alone fly one. So it's starting to get into my head that maybe that's possible.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, you had aspirations to fly like F-18s and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, if like anyone, the F-14
Well,
was,
yeah. If you missed that era,
I did
sorry.
just miss that one. They got turned into cans when I was coming up. But yeah, I definitely did I wanted to fly for the military, for sure. I wanted to fly, everything, anything, A-10s, ugh.
Oh, had I known the A-10 was around, my career would have taken a very different turn. It's the only jet that does anything for me.
Oh, A-10's amazing.
It's just an incredible
And-
platform.
Yeah, and it's very good they're on our side.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
If there's any time I might have felt a twinge of pity, I didn't, but it was like being on the receiving end of that's probably really bad.
Well, at least, sorry to put it this way, but you're dead before you hear it.
Well, there's that.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
You don't hear the burp.
Yep, no.
You just
Yep.
vaporize.
Yeah.
You hear the
Just
burp, you
done.
survived.
Yeah. That's pretty
Yeah.
amazing platform for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I think, well, that era, there was a concert last night downtown, and it was the soundtrack to the new Top Gun.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, okay, well, we're going to the symphony, we're going to hear some music. No, they showed the movie and played the soundtrack.
Oh, that's
So we
cool.
watched the movie last night.
Oh, yeah,
pretty
excellent.
cool.
Excellent.
Pretty cool.
But you're kind of going goal by goal.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe talk of flying might be a couple ahead, but I hope you do it.
Yeah, I mean, do you have
I
any
hope so,
other?
too.
I mean, obviously, I'm guessing that if you had the opportunity and you got the skill set to go fly the Corsair,
Oh, well, that would be
that would be like the
that.
ultimate goal,
That is
right?
that is the ultimate.
And I mean,
It would be.
and like I said, there's
We have people who do
opportunities
that.
Here,
Yes.
so
Yes.
maybe go out there and start thinking about that.
Yeah, definitely. When I was here, I was actually helped started Philippe when he was doing the check rides, and I was just when he got done with that, I was so excited. I like run up to him. I'm like, "How does this feel?" Like living vicariously through him, like
Yeah.
flying my granddad's plane. I just
until
love
you're there.
that. Yes.
But yeah, you've maybe planted a seed, I think.
Oh,
It's the seed has always been there. It's just
Well,
how do you
Scott,
nourish it?
Scott might have put some
Yes.
Miracle Grow on it or
Yeah.
something.
You
Yeah.
got any last questions?
No, this has been a treat.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do this for a while. I know we got derailed, and I really appreciate you sharing your airplane with us.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to share with everybody. It's,
Well, now you will. All 300 of them out there.
she deserves to be seen more than me. I want the airplane to be seen.
Yeah, it's a fantastic airplane. I actually got to go fly in it for the first time when we did the flying
Yes.
filming, I should say. So that was pretty amazing to sit back here and just kind of relax and enjoy the view from the blisters.
Unbelievable
and
from the blisters,
it's
right?
just I mean, it was pretty funny because Ian was flying the thing and he had to do a short approach because we were landing on the crosswind runway, and they didn't want us interfering with the big
Right.
runway. So yeah, I can make that, and you're just looking out the blister, and you're like, I couldn't believe the turn we were making in this thing as slow as we were, and it was perfect. He just came right
Well,
in,
that's
and
those-
I mean, it was like a beautiful, perfect landing.
It's those big old wings.
Man,
I had signed up for Volunteer Appreciation Day, and I had to.
you had to go fly in
Oh, and the
B-25 instead.
B-25.
You had to slum it with me.
Slumming it. And that beautiful B-25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I will
next year-
say one part of being, crew chief or flight engineer on this airplane is you got to get inside those wings. And let me tell you, that's not for everybody.
Well, you might fit inside those
Just
wings,
barely.
but not.
Just barely.
And when she says inside the wing, she literally
Literally
means
means
inside
inside
the
the
wings.
wings. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, they're what? They're where?
Yeah, you could hear
And
me.
you see a head pop up. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, thank you
Really
guys so much for
appreciate it.
having me. And
Oh no,
especially
thank you.
following all the amazing pilots we've had on. I certainly was intimidated, but
There's no reason you should be.
At all? No, you're
I mean,
here.
hell, we have Scott on
Earned
here.
it. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, if I'm here, anybody could be here.
oh well, okay.
Thanks, Nicole.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, one more of the list I made of I really want to do this, and when I saw some B-roll from the Coleman group, and here's Nicole briefing the British girls, and I thought, yeah, we need to get her on the podcast.
Yeah, and it's a freaking unique, venue. I mean, this
Well,
is what happens when they don't build you a studio. You
There
just decided to climb in their airplanes and start filming.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
We got to do what we got to do, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that'll get the studio built sooner or later, but
We'll see. But I mean, you just sit here and you look at Nicole and you look at what she's been able to accomplish, and it's just a testament to, you can't wait around
Yep.
for somebody to hand you something. Like, you want something, you got to go get it.
Well, and
that is an example of going
perfect.
and getting it. Right?
Perfect example. And the other reassuring thing is, just as talking with Jennifer and Lydia, to have folks younger than me be enthusiastic about this stuff is absolutely vital.
Well, there's something magical about it, and I know, and unfortunately, they're all products of war, right? Like, it's a terrible thing. Nobody wants to have those, but there's something just nostalgic and beautiful about this era of airplanes. That just, it doesn't matter who you are, what age. I think, like, once you see it and you experience it, it just kind of hooks you. I mean, and it's hard to explain.
Well, I've been hooked since third grade, I think. But, one thing, war's terrible, but these airplanes saved civilization.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was, in my opinion, one of the most necessary wars. I mean, it was truly like the last vestige of it, that we've been able to really have a clear good versus evil type conflict.
Well, and it was the last war where victory was the goal.
Yeah, and so you have that on top of just the. I mean, it all came together at the right time because aviation was so new, and yet the progresses and innovations made in that short amount of time. Yeah, and just they're just unique. I mean, everything out there flying today is gray. Everything's painted gray, and they look different, but they're kind of the same. And you got a P-38, you got a Corsair, you got an SBD. They're all just uniquely different because everybody was just like, "Hey, this is better than that design. We're going to try this."
Well, and that's the great thing about the designers that apogee. Of course, Kelly Johnson lasted all the way through the SR-71, but they just said, "Okay, this is what we needed to do. Just figure it out."
Yeah.
And the solutions are different, and every one of them is just elegant.
Yeah, and not everything worked.
Well, no,
not everything was the best.
As soon as I said they were all elegant, then a couple of images popped into my head.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe not all of them.
Maybe not all of them, but in their own way, they. When you look back in a different eye, they all kind of have that. But I mean, what a unique airplane! What an amazing opportunity for her to be able to become a flight engineer and really work her way onto the crew.
Yeah.
I mean, you could feel it, like the love for it.
Well,
it was intense.
I hope I'm around when she takes her check ride.
Yeah, you, me, both. You got to stick around for a while, dude.
I'm planning on it. I'm doing the maintenance and the work, but so we've got this achievement here, and we've got a few things coming up. The Coleman Group is here filming again, yes. I guess.
Yeah, they're finishing up doing some more interviews. Even though they told me they had so many interviews, they actually had to hire a new guy to come in and just
edit.
No, not even to edit, just to put it into their server.
Oh, okay.
And watch it the whole time because there's just so much footage. And
yeah.
I mean, if you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, at least me, William and Rob's on MeWe, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Anyway,
MeWe, something like that.
I've been able to post a bunch of the footage that they're putting out. They're putting out some teaser trailers, and I mean, phenomenal.
The photography.
Oh God, it just
the quality of
the music, just the whole production. Yeah. They put it all together, and it brings a little tear, and the hair stands up, and it's worth just the minute.
Yep.
The minute to sit down and watch it. So if you want to check us out on Facebook, on our socials.
You've been posting them as soon as you get them, right?
Yeah, as soon as I get them from them, I'm putting them out. So
that's a good way to.
They're kind of putting it out, and you can find all of our socials on the description. On the page where you found us, either on YouTube or whatever podcasts.
And we'll put something at the end of this podcast the link to that story about Nicole's great granddad, because it's a cool story.
Yeah, it sounds like a guy that was pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, he was. I mean,
and again, that's the cool thing about what we're doing. Like, I didn't know that story, and I'm around her every other Saturday or so.
Yeah.
But you get busy. We're doing work and doing this and that. You don't really always get to sit down and just chit chat about stuff like that. So
no, that was
nice to be
neat.
able to get that out there.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. So
well, let's call it good.
Okay, let's call it good. So for my partner Rob Gale, my assistant, not my assistant, I'm sorry, producer William Stephenson, for Nicole Bertola and myself, Scott Clares, stay safe out there.
Do.